they get rewarded for having a penalty there, you know. That's kind of probably not what they want by the rule. So we'll see, maybe it's a loophole in the rule, I'm not sure. Something they'll probably look at, but because a receiver caught it, you can't call intentional grounding, even though it's an illegal receiver, there's no eligible receiver in the area, which would constitute grounding, so that's kind of that's what he explained to me.
John, going back to Justin Tucker, feels like maybe the first slump of his career. How have you approached coaching him, working with him, and just something that seems foreign for a guy that is the most accurate in NFL history as of now?
Yeah, I mean, Justin knows that we support him. I try to make sure he knows that. You know, that's part of it, just relationship-wise. I mean, the talent, the ability, all that stuff is there. You know, that hasn't gone anywhere. We see it all the time. But it's a technique thing. I think we approach from a technical standpoint. Randy Brown does a great job coaching that part of it. That's Randy's the foremost guy in the business at that. So they work on that every single day. You know, for me, I just try to encourage what I see and understand the technique as well. But Justin's a pro. You know, I have great belief that he'll get the job done.
John, maybe it's related to what you were saying about the pass coverage earlier, but I think you guys are second in yards given up to tight ends, second in passing yards given up between the hashes. Are you concerned? I mean, especially when you look at the spine of your defense, it has some of your best players. Are you concerned about what's going on in the middle of the field right now?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's the easiest place to complete passes in the middle of the field. You know, and you got to get between the quarterback and the football, and we're not doing a good job of that. So it's got to stop. Put a stop to it.
John, when you got your sort of closer second look at the offensive line, did you come away? I mean, I guess what observations did you come away with, and did that sort of redouble your confidence in that group going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think we took a step. You know, we took a step. Offensive line as a team. The good news is we came a long way, and the good news is we have a long way to go. And that's good news because that gives us an opportunity to get a lot better. So I see great upside in our whole team. I also see great upside in our offensive line. But by no means will we be perfect anywhere. You know, especially in the offensive line, they played well. We got a lot of rushing yards, but there's plenty of things to get better at.
John, along those lines, a couple of the guys really made a point to shout out Daniel Harbaugh that you know, some of the scrutiny and questions about coming into the position for him. In reviewing the tape, what did you like about how he played, and you know, if it wasn't improvement and everything, what do you think made the difference compared to maybe the first couple games?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, he's a young player. He's growing. I think he just had a little more a sense of like understanding what it was going to take. You know, he wasn't playing tentative. Maybe he played a little tentative maybe early on. If you want to just dig into psychology, but he played with more aggressiveness. You know, he came off the ball. He moved people. He knocked people off the ball. He got up on linebacker. He cut people off. He knocked down blocks down across. You know, he knocked tackles across the center sometimes. You know, some things that made those runs really go. He was a big part of the run with the other guys. You know, so that was good. And yet there were other things that he didn't do as well. He knows, and he can keep getting better at. So again, Daniel came a long way in that game. I think he's kind of indicative of that whole statement. And the good news is he's got a long way to go, and he's capable of so much more.
John, you guys have used heavy sets and for years, and Patrick Carr has been a huge part of that. But you know, this week in particular, is there something with some of those bigger sets that you thought worked well against the Cowboys, and do you feel like some of those packages are essential going forward in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a lot of worlds football-wise with more versatility. I think it's a strength. Sometimes it can be considered not. You know, some teams come out and they play 11 personnel the whole game and spread you out, don't motion anybody. Sometimes they use motion. And different teams have different approaches. And one of our approaches is that we have a lot of multiple personnel groups that we use. That's kind of the way we go. So from one game to the next, you'll probably see different emphasis in different places, probably. But to be able to run the ball, we call it must run. When you really want to run the ball and do it out of big groups that protect the edges and all that, that's something kind of is in our DNA a little bit. Been that way a long time, so we definitely want to live in that world if we can.
On that topic, the tight ends and the versatility they showed as perimeter blockers for you yesterday, just how important is that, especially as Mark and Isaiah are pass catching guys to show themselves as blockers. How important is that for the offense?
That's such a great point, Ryan. I mean, the perimeter blocking was okay the first 2 weeks. It was outstanding in this game. Those guys, I'm gonna tell you, Mark Andrews might have had 3 or 4 pancakes. Isaiah Likely, he was out there reaching guys. The wide receivers had our best blocking game in a long time. And those guys were blocking. I'm thinking Nelson Aguilar coming down and getting the free safety, right over the ball one time, which is kind of, you don't see that too often. Zay Likely crack blocking down on defensive end. Those kind of things are really what make, to me, that kind of unselfish play, being willing to, there's one ball carrier and there's 10 blockers, so to speak. I mean, even Lamar's a blocker when he carries out a fake, say, you're all helping the ball carrier one way or another. And our guys are really buying into that, and that's something we just got to keep building on.
John, Andrews played many fewer snaps than he would in maybe a typical week. Was that purely a matter of the style that you guys ended up playing?
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of big groups out there, kind of to your point about the personnel groups and stuff like that. I think guys will play different amounts, different games, with the different guys that we have. I think didn't I bring this up a week or 2 ago? We'd go one way, and then someone wouldn't play, and then the question would be, why didn't that guy play? I think that's probably going to be something it'll be every week. There'll always be, somebody didn't get the ball thrown to him, or didn't get many touches, or wasn't on the field as much. It's probably going to be a part of the game plan each week. And a lot of it's how the game goes too, But Mark did what he was asked to do in the game, and it just turned out that way. It wasn't like he wasn't in the pass routes. He could have been throwing the ball. It just didn't come his way. But the blocks came his way. He was out there blocking those guys, and he did a great job.
John, I noticed that Nate Wiggins got cleared, and then he's essentially starting. He did get hit with a couple of penalties, but what did you see from him, and where is he at now?
Yeah, I think Nate competed real hard out there. I think Nate, that was a learning game for Nate probably. He had some really good plays. He knocked that ball out there and going in. That was a massive play for us. So proud of him for that. Then other times I think he learned, NFL football sometimes. I mean, we got one pass interference penalty where he didn't even touch the guy. But he got another one where he grabbed the guy. You got to learn from that, and he will. Some of the leverages he'll learn from. But Nate's a competitor. He's tough. He wants to be good. Love everything about who he is and where he's going as a player.
John, you described late night session, early morning session today. In that context, what have you kind of seen from Zach Orr? Obviously, a real tough job coming in from what the defense was last year, and secondary hasn't been what everybody wants. What are you kind of seeing as he addresses those issues and really kind of stares what he's got to do in face?
Yeah, that's a challenge of coaching. You want everything to go great, and we're coaching so many things. The structure of the defense is the same. There's things that have been added. None of those things are causing any problems. It's just based on basic execution, really in the fourth quarter of games. That's really what the issue has been, and that's got to get cleaned up. And that's guys knowing what to do, and they do, and just doing it. So I think Zach's done a good job of letting those guys. He's been very clear about what he expects. He's done a great job of making the corrections, drilling the corrections, getting the corrections practiced, and you guys got to go out there and do it, and they will. So nothing ever comes too easy. Sometimes it comes easy in first 3 or 4 games, and it's like, man, this is the best of something that there's ever been, and all of a sudden it's not so good anymore. There's always this kind of process and evolution. Nothing's ever as good, nothing's ever as bad sometimes as it seems. It's that way in football for sure. So when I watch the details of the defense, and we talk through all that stuff, we can see where the issues are, and you just fix them, and steadily you play better. And it's not so much that we have like we're at this level, we're not good, or we got to play more consistently. The way we played the first half should be the way we play the whole game. I mean, just play that way the whole game. We're capable of doing it, and let's go do it.
John, with Derrick Henry, how impressed were you watching the game back? I mean, it's kind of vintage Derrick, what we saw yesterday in kind of his first breakout game 4 years ago.
Did you see his suit and his hat?
Yeah.
Is that impressive? I was impressed with the suit and hat, but I was not more impressed with the game. As a football coach, man, I tell you that was fun. And it's like Derek said, it's a team effort. Football's a team game. but we gave him some space. Our offensive line, the scheme, I thought the game plan was really good. Thought Lamar created some space for him as well. Like you said, you guys all said, the perimeter blocking, all that stuff created the space that he needed to go be who he is. And he was who he is. He made a couple runs too with vision, you know, where he'd start inside and bounce outside there, you know, or he'd cut back, you know, we saw some things that, you know, that not every back sees all the time. So, and then once he gets that momentum going, man, he's tough. He's different. So, yeah, I was excited about that.
John, speaking of Henry, he talked after the game that he challenged the offensive line to, you know, improve and to push them. It was report that he was working out with them, and just what can you say about that kind of leadership and how he approached it that resonates with your team?
Yeah. Well, he's highly respected, and he's a really good person, and he really supported the guys. You know, he's that kind of a guy. So he challenges them in a way, I think, that is, you know, you're capable of so much more. Let's go be that, you know. And then like you said, dig in there and work with them on it. You know, that's I think what we talked about, right? So yeah, I mean, you see it. He's out there in pre-practice. You guys saw him last week before practice, working with the guys in the pass protection stuff out there before when the special teams are going. So that's genuine leadership.
Coach, with Lamar, his time to throw has kind of significantly decreased over the past 3 weeks, almost half a second less from week 1.
Say it, I'm sorry.
Lamar's time to throw has
Throw.
dropped significantly.
You mean getting the ball out quicker?
Yeah, yeah. Is that kind of something that's part of the game plan, especially going up against a guy like Michael Parsons?
Yeah, I mean, I think on time rhythm passing is important. You know, that's something that we want to be able to be good at because it takes pressure off of protection, takes pressure off the routes, it takes pressure off Lamar. That should be a big part of what we do. I mean, even like the boot early to Charlie, you know, that's a play action pass, a misdirection pass, we call movement pass, but it balls out pretty quick there, right? So those kind of things, the more you can do those things, keep the defense, you know, hit them quick, keep them moving, get them going one way, throw it the other way, or the more makes you read, and brings it back over here with a quick throw. Those are yards execution yards that really take a lot of pressure off the rest of the format.
John, along those lines, you talked about Lamar's play faking earlier, and his ball handling yesterday looked exceptional. At times on TV, you couldn't even tell who had the ball. How important is that now, taking the offense to another level, and how impressed were you when you watched it yesterday?
Yeah, I was impressed. I was looking the wrong way a couple times, you know. That's what you want is to tell Lamar, if you fool me, man, that's you're definitely fooling the defense. That's been a big part of our offense for quite a few years now, right? And I think the fact that we've been able to maintain that through this transition, style-wise a little bit, has been really important because it's just one of the things that makes Lamar unique. You know, he's got amazing ability, you know, with his hands, you know, and to do that, some of that stuff that he does just so naturally is pretty rare. So you got to take advantage of it. I mean, you got to use that. Someone has a gift like that, you have to use it. And seen it pay off. It's something defenses. I hear every week about who's playing Lamar at quarterback and how they're working on stuff. That's kind of what they're talking about. You know, that has to be respected. They have to spend time on that.
Coach, you talked about.
Game is a must-win situation, but just based on NFL history, did 0-3 seem like almost a death sentence as you got there?
Well, no one wanted that. You know, that's not something that we wanted. So, you know, that's what made the fourth quarter so interesting. You know, I mean, it was tough. You know, it was challenging fourth quarter. I was proud of the guys in the sense that they finished. You know, would have liked to have seen the job done a little sooner. You know, but we finished. You know, and at the end of the day, you have to find a way to finish and get the job done, and they did. So, with that, we just got to get better. You know, with all the little things that we do, and you know, get stops in the fourth quarter, get first downs in the fourth quarter, put points on the board when we have a chance to do it. All those things the guys know about.
On the onside
Coach, everyone's talked about what Rashad Bateman's capable of when he gets opportunities. What are your thoughts on what he was able to contribute yesterday?
Yeah, I was really happy, you know, for Rashad. I just feel like he's open a lot, you know, because he runs such good routes, and Lamar finds him, you know, and it's starting to just really grow. So, You know, we've got the 2 young wide receivers out there, and I talk to those guys all the time about they're the future and the present, you know. And we've got the tight ends, and we've got the veteran Nelly, you know, doing his thing in there. And you see Tyler will go out there, and he makes his plays, and sometimes he does the dirty work, you know, and he does it so well. Justice Hill, you know, I mean, all these guys are just critical elements of what we're trying to do. And but Bates' upside is phenomenal.
On the onside kick that they recovered, is there any detail to coach beyond just pick the ball up? I mean, or like what? I mean, what do you take from?
Well, yeah, there's kind of a technique that I think sometimes you get a little over anxious, sometimes maybe, but you know that kick it's not a new kick. It's been around for about 4 years. That little slide roller that goes back. It's on turf. You know, we don't play on turf a lot, so maybe that was a little bit different for us, but. I think it's something that we just have to, it's like everything else, you gotta chase every detail, and you try to be in front of everything as much as you can. I can promise you, we're gonna spend some time this week for all those guys picking up all those kicks on turf and on grass, you know. We'll do that, you know, and then sometimes you just gotta go, oh, okay, boy, it's gotta get your attention. And you can't overlook something like that when it comes up, because that would have sealed the game. Game was over. I was happy. When they went onside kick, I was happy. I was like, all right, we'll get this onside kick, we'll go down there, we'll get points, more time will be off the clock, and the game's gonna be ours, you know, and we cracked the door open. We opened the door a little bit there, and that's what we gotta learn as a team, and our guys know that, and you just gotta go do it, and once you start doing that, you start closing the door on people, you start kind of choking the life out of the game a little bit, that's when you become a really good closing football team. We're gonna get there.
All right. John, about the NFL kicking, I believe the Cowboys were able to kick a 3rd onside kick because of the new kickoff rules. Is that something that felt strange to you?
What is that?
So the Cowboys could not kick a 3rd onside kick as the new kickoff rules dictate you are only allowed to do 2 onside kicks in the 4th quarter. Is that?
I'm gonna have to claim ignorance on that. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, I'm just being honest here. I didn't know that rule. So, yeah, is that right?
Yeah. And so, just what's your opinion on that?
I don't know why. I wouldn't know why they have that rule, to be honest with you. So I don't have an opinion on it. I guess I'm grateful for it. I don't know. Should I read it? I'd rather have that not come again. That's okay.
You also can't go to first base.
All right, thank you.